Hi guys. So I thought it was about time that I sat down and filmed a bit of an update for you guys. Let you know what's been going on since my last video, which would have been our embryo transfer. As you can probably tell from the title of the video, we have had quite a roller coaster of events and emotions since then. So basically we had our embryo transferred back on the 13th of January. That was a 3-day transfer, 3-day embryo. And everything went great after that. I was feeling really positive about the whole thing. I was actually experiencing quite a lot of symptoms. I had definite implantation cramping, probably about 5 days past 3-day transfer. In the couple of days that followed that, I had very subtle, but when you're looking for it, very obvious implantation bleeding. And leading up to the day that we had decided we were going to do a home test, I was really positive that actually the IVF had worked. Obviously scared still that, we would be out again, but secretly positive that it had worked. I felt like it had, I really did. So this Monday just passed, we decided that we were going to do a home pregnancy test because my sister was flying in from the UK that night, and it was the last chance that we'd have really to be alone and do a home pregnancy test where we'd both be together so that we would get the results together, because I knew that when I had my bloods and the clinic phoned in the results that I wouldn't be with Sarah. She would be at work that day, so we wanted to find out together whether or not I was pregnant. And as you can see from the footage, I'll probably pop it in here somewhere. We were really excited to see that second line come up. Okay.
The day has come.
Morning. Yeah, it's officially test day. I'm a bit nervous, so I'll pull that interview. Just dip it in. Nobody needs to see the way. Okay, so we just got first response. The early response pregnancy tests. We do have a digital as well, but I don't know, saving that for when we actually get a positive pregnancy test, so we'll see. Haven't whipped out the big guns yet. I was finished. Sorry.
Fair?
Okay.
They're going back now.
Yeah, just dip it.
What is it, 5 seconds?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Whoa. So nerve-wracking.
Okay, just put it in that.
Do you want to see it or not? Do
No.
you want to watch it develop?
Make sure that the line, the test, the coming up. Yeah, make sure it's just doing that. I will just make sure I got to the end and then
Oh, I don't know.
set timer. What, you want to watch it?
Huh? No, I don't know if I want to watch it or not.
Oh, I don't. Where's your phone? Can we?
Yeah.
Should we just
Where is it?
do a 3-minute timer?
That's 3 minutes up.
Okay.
Oh my god, I don't know what.
That's my okay.
I don't know if it'll work or not. You ready?
Yeah.
Sure. Ooh. I'd say it's the second line.
That is a second line.
It's faint, but
That is
it
not. That's
definitely-
not faint.
Is it?
No, I have seen faint lines in pregnancy tests before. That is not faint. That is a line that you look at the test and you can see. People like sit here and squint to see faint lines. That is a line.
We're gonna have to do another one like tomorrow or something. Look.
It might be really hard to get it on there, but
Yeah, I can see.
see, guys, that is a line. That is not a faint line. That is a line.
Oh! Right, let's not get too excited
Oh my god.
because just in case. But
Oh my god, I can't believe that. Sarah did ask last night whether I thought that it was gonna like be positive or not, and I said like I did. Like I've been having some symptoms that I did really think meant that it had implanted. Like it's probably TMI, but I get quite a lot of like gunk from the progesterone, and there was definite brown blood spotting in it. Like I definitely was spotting right around the time when I was meant to be spotting, and I've definitely been feeling like pinchy cramps that sound like what everybody talks about with implantation. So yeah, oh my god, I can't believe that.
I did think that like before Karen gets her period she gets very emotional, and she hasn't been, and really this is almost over the time where you do your period.
No, it just depends what, like, it's not 14 days past the trigger, so it's not 14 days past ovulation, but because I got my period and then I
So
coasted
early.
for so long, it's hard to know. Like my period really, if you take it from when I last bled, was your days ago, but they had me coasting on Cineral, you know, like for what, over a week.
Yeah, but usually you have signs of getting your period like a good week beforehand, and you've actually like.
I'm so tempted to bust up the digital.
Would it work?
I don't know. Honestly, I know you said that's a faint line. That is a strong positive, considering that we are only what is this?
Well, it's 12 days after ovulation.
But 10 days after our 3-day transfer, and that's a pretty strong positive. Do you wanna, like, worst case scenario, we wasted a bit of cash?
Yeah, go for it. You got the pee still?
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah. When we got pregnant with Harris, like I did the same. I had a clear blue digital that we did not touch through 4 IUIs and 2 IVFs because I was determined I wasn't wasting the money because these are expensive until we actually got a positive pregnancy test.
And these ones don't work
They're not
quite as, they're quite sensitive, so it might not work.
What does it say? No, we just need instructions. How many settings? Is it just 5?
In a cup, it's 20 seconds. If you pee, it's 5 seconds. Pee onto it.
Oh, you want to do it?
Huh?
I said, oh, you want to do it, do you?
Oh, you can do it.
No, I said, here, I'll do it. You're the pee.
No,
You're the
I didn't say I'd do it. I said you have to pee on it, or if it's in a cup.
Oh,
20
I said,
seconds.
here, I'll do it.
No. Okay.
Ready?
Good. You shaking?
Yeah, I'm shaking.
Oh, why is that wet?
Oh, it was in the bathroom behind the sink. I just kept it there in case we had to get it this morning. I didn't want to wake her up going into drawers. Don't worry, I didn't pee on it.
3 minutes. Doctor, do that outside.
We've got a super busy day today as well, so I'm really glad that this is the news that we got, because it would have been really hard getting through the day. But yeah. Oh my god, I just can't believe it was this easy for us. Like, I know that we shouldn't, like...
Babes, it wasn't this easy. You just went through like 2 months of hell.
I know, but...
It wasn't easy.
2 months of hell compared to a year of hell.
2 months of hell from getting like a cancelled cycle and 14 eggs with only 1 fertilising.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that's easy. That's definitely not
it's
easy.
easy compared to what we've been through before. Like,
No.
well, look,
It was less time consuming, yes. Doing like a double round. But it certainly wasn't easy. Especially not for you. Now you're gonna have to wait till Wednesday to get a proper test.
no, that's the hard part, but we knew that test early, that either way it was going to be torture waiting 2 days.
You need to like photocopy that bloods
Yeah.
sheet because you'll need to get a second test. Ooh, that's a second confirmation.
Yeah. Just says, yeah, there you go. Pregnant, 1 to 2 weeks.
Wow. This one might be a little bit harder to see. I know. 1 to 2 weeks.
So there you go, guys. Yeah, I think that's gonna take a while to think in.
I remember when like when I got the pregnancy test results, we only did one of these because we chucked out my wee.
Yeah.
And got it positive, and I just couldn't believe it. Like I was so, because we'd had so many negatives, and I was like, oh, maybe it was one of those like false positive ones.
Yeah, you had to.
And I went, and I went to work, and I was all like thinking about it all day, like, no, I don't think that would have happened. Like I was so positive that I wasn't pregnant that it was so hard to sink in.
Whereas I was the total opposite. We'd stared at so many blank, like not a speck, flat pregnancy tests that I knew as soon as we seen even like tiniest line there that it was positive. You know, people say all the time it's much more likely that you get a false negative than a false positive because this is picking up HCG, and that is not a faint line. So yeah,
it just looks fake compared to that other one.
Oh yeah, like it's not as
a line.
dark as the control line, but you don't have to look hard to see that there's a second line there. Oh my god, and yeah, the digital confirms it.
So yeah, as you can probably tell from watching that, we were super excited and like I think just in complete disbelief that it had worked, that I was pregnant. I know that I totally felt like it was going to be positive, but I don't know, there was still a part of me that was really shocked that actually it had been straightforward. And like you seen Sarah say, you know, I guess it wasn't straightforward, you know, like I have had an IUI that failed, an IVF get cancelled because I didn't respond well, and a second IVF where I got a ton of eggs but none of them fertilised. So I guess for most people that would not seem easy, like, or that straightforward, but I just felt like, I don't know, for us, given that everything that we went through trying to conceive, number one, that it just felt a little bit too easy and like a bit too good to be true. But you know what, we were just happy to take the luck and I don't know, celebrate the fact that it hadn't been a struggle so much this time. And I think that feeling lasted for probably about 14 hours. And later that night, I went straight from work that night on Monday night to pick my sister up from the airport in Perth and brought her back, and then we went off to bed. And that night I woke up and I had been having cramps for a couple of days, but they were really mild, like nothing like period cramps, just really very mild cramps. And you know, I had googled it, and everybody had said, like, there was tons of people who had said, you know, that it was very normal, that they experienced cramps, and that it was a good sign, everything was fine, it's just, you know, uterus stretching, blah blah. But that night I couldn't get to sleep because my cramps were getting really bad. They were getting to the point where they were just as bad as period cramps, and through the night they just kept getting worse and worse and worse, and it got to the point where I had just lain awake until 2 o'clock in the morning, and I woke Sarah up and I said, I just don't think that this is right, you know, I think that I might be losing this pregnancy. And shortly after I went to the toilet and there was blood, very small amount of blood initially, but still fresh bright red blood. And I guess I just knew from that point that that was not good. Everything that I was feeling was just I don't know, justified, and that I wasn't just being negative, but that I actually was losing the pregnancy. So yeah, it just continued to get worse all through the night. I barely slept that night. I had to end up getting up and take painkillers. And then the next day, the cramps really kicked in, and I just started to bleed more and more heavily. But mid-morning, I started to pass really big clots. And I guess that's when I really knew that there was absolutely no way that the pregnancy could possibly be viable after that. Yeah. So it wasn't very nice. I know that I was only 4 weeks along, but yeah, it was really heartbreaking to have the positive pregnancy test and then and then just suddenly be bleeding and know that you're not pregnant anymore. So I was supposed to go for my first beta on Thursday. No, Wednesday. But I actually rung the clinic on Tuesday morning and just said to them, like, it's a public holiday here today, which is Friday. It's Australia Day. And I just said to them, like, you know, I know that you're going to need me to do a follow-up 2 days later, and it's Harris's birthday on Saturday, and it's a public holiday on Friday. Can I go have one done today? I did get a positive pregnancy test. I explained about the bleeding. I said I just really want to be able to follow up with a second beta test and know before the long weekend what is going on with me. So they told me to go have one that day, and then rung me up later that afternoon to say, yes, like I had returned a positive pregnancy test. I think my HCG was at like 44 or something. And they wanted me to continue and just treat it as if I was pregnant. They said, oh, we've seen a lot of bleeding in patients before, and sometimes, you know, it does work out for the best, and, you know, you just need to be positive and blah blah blah. So I continued to take my progesterone and do everything that they said, but I just know, I knew that this just wasn't going to be a good outcome. So yesterday, which was Thursday, I went and had another beta, but I've been going to the place locally rather than travelling to Perth for it, and like I said before, they can't guarantee same day results, and unfortunately yesterday was like the one time where they didn't give the clinic the results the same day. So even though I phoned up yesterday afternoon to try and figure out what my second beta was, they weren't able to tell me. which is really annoying because I doubt now that I will know until Saturday, which is Harris's first birthday. But that night I kind of said to Sarah, I've had enough of like pretending like this pregnancy could go like forward, and I just needed to know, I just needed to make a decision. Like I needed to be able to stop the progesterone. Taking the progesterone gel every night vaginally was just horrible when you've spent all day bleeding. It's just really horrible. So I just said, I just need to know. So I did another home pregnancy test, and there was barely a line there. The line was so faint that you could really only see it if you moved it in the light. So yeah, it is very safe to say that I did suffer an early miscarriage, and that we are not going to be having a baby, and this IVF cycle was a failure. Yeah, we are really, I don't know, just emotional about it, and very disappointed and upset, and I think we both just need some time off to try and regroup. I'd just really like to thank everybody who has followed along with us on this journey. We will be back, and we will definitely be trying again for baby number 2, but it just might be after a few months of personal time.